Welcome everybody back to another episode of Renegade Wrestling Review. I am once again your host Gina J, and holy crap did we just have one hell of an NXT Takeover War Games. Let's get right into it. So the night started off with a backstage squirrel, I'm going to say, between Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle. This led to Matt Riddle going out to the ring, issuing an open challenge, and of course Ohno responds. The match itself, for me, it was a great filler. I thought that they needed another match because there were only 4 matches tonight. However, it wasn't a big, pop for me. But that's okay, because on this takeover, I don't think that they really needed a big, huge match between these two. Ultimately, we had Matt Riddle end up coming out as the winner of that match. I understand what they're doing with Ohno right now, but I don't really like it. I think Ohno is a lot better than what they give him credit for, so to speak. However, like I said, I totally understand why Matt Riddle was the victor tonight. He's the new face of NXT, and he needed that victory. Following that match, we had the Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler match. Now, in my predictions the other night, I did have a feeling that Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir were going to get involved. Of course, not too long after the match started, we see those two come down to the ring. They ended up getting involved, and Shayna Baszler picked up the first fall. However, before they could get involved again, Dakota Kai came down to the ring. And as Dakota Kai is, squaring off with those two outside the ring, we also saw Io Shirai. I can never remember her name. We saw Io Shirai also come down to the ring. We know that she is very good friends with Kairi Sane. And ultimately, with those two being involved, taking out the other 2 women, that ended up allowing Kairi Sane to pick up the second pinfall. Unfortunately, Kairi was not able to pick up the third pinfall and win the title back. Shayna Baszler picked up the third, and she is still the NXT Women's Champion. Next match up on the dock, holy crap. Honestly, you guys, this match was ridiculous. Alistair Black versus Johnny Gargano. I absolutely love Alistair Black. I think that he is probably one of NXT's top superstars. I think that he is probably also one of the only superstars that is main roster ready. Don't know if I want to see him go to the main roster, just simply because I don't know if he would do as well up there. I think he would because of his gimmick. However, I love seeing him in NXT, and Johnny Gargano is Johnny Wrestling. That it says it all for itself, but holy crap, the only way that I can describe this match is hard-hitting perfection. That's my sum of that match. Just absolute hard-hitting, in-your-face perfection. We saw a lot of knees, a lot of kicks, and just the insane audience reaction was absolutely wonderful. We saw at one point in time Johnny Gargano was appearing to kiss Alistair Black's feet and asking him to put him out of his misery, which in turn turned out to be a complete act. But that led to an unprotected knee by Alistair Black, and holy crap, he hit the Black Mass to end the match. He actually hit it twice, but right before that second Black Mass, he actually told Johnny Gargano, and I quote, "I will absolve you of your sins," before he hits second Black Mass. So he's standing there saying, "I will absolve you of your sins." There couldn't have been a better ending to that whole storyline. I love that ending. I honestly hope now that they move on from Johnny Gargano and Alistair Black. I think that it's ultimately going to end up where Johnny Gargano ends up back with Champa, but we will see. Speaking of Champa versus Velveteen Dream is the next match up, and again, holy crap, what a match. I am so ridiculously impressed by all of these matches on the roster tonight, but specifically Black and Gargano and Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa. Holy crap. There's no other words that I can use. They were both playing mind games, like just incredible mind games throughout the entire match. Velveteen Dream, there is something special with Velveteen Dream. There's a reason why all of these huge wrestling superstars want to face Velveteen Dream. And for as young as this kid is, it is so incredibly impressive to see how intelligent he is in the ring. Not just wrestling wise, but in the mind play games and just overall fantastic and very impressive wrestler. I don't even know how to describe him. He can play the mind games. He has a psychological side, but then he also has a physical side. So I see a lot of great things coming from Velveteen Dream, despite the fact that he did not quite reach that championship tonight. Tommaso Ciampa actually ended up pulling it off, and he was the victor, retaining his title. However, it did appear at the end of the match he might be injured. That's nothing official or anything, but when he hit that final move on the turnbuckle, or excuse me, on the apron, it looked like he landed wrong on his tailbone. And on top of that, it looked like he had an ankle or a shin injury as well. So we will have to wait and see what and if anything comes out from that. This leads us up to the last match of the night, War Games, and I have absolutely no words for what I saw in War Games. Last year was great. This year was even greater. It topped it off so great. We saw so many high-flying moves. We saw hard-hitting knees. At one point in time, I love the fact that Kyle O'Reilly was actually, like, teasing, slapping, I believe it was Hanson. Yeah, I believe it was Hanson. He was, like, slapping him in the back of the head, like they do in New Japan. Anybody that watches New Japan, you know, and obviously Kyle O'Reilly came from New Japan and ROH, so he's used to that kind of hard-hitting, taunting style that they do over there, and I love that he was incorporating that into the match tonight. I picked up on that right away. First to enter the match, we had Ricochet and Adam Cole. Then, of course, Kyle O'Reilly came out, followed by Hanson, and then followed by Strong, followed by Rowe, and then last but not least, followed by Bobby Fish. Can't forget Bobby Fish. But when Bobby Fish came out of the cage, he immediately went over and he attacked Pete Dunne, who was still in the cage. Initially, I'm like, okay, he's attacking him so he can't get out of the cage, but then he brings out another chain, and we find out that he is actually locking another lock onto the cage so that Pete Dunne cannot get out. He throws away the key. Ultimately, when Pete Dunne's time comes to get out of the cage, they can't get him out, so they ultimately have to get a bolt cutters from the back, which of course leaves the other guys in the ring unprotected. So Undisputed Era could basically mangle him until Pete Dunne is able to get out. They ultimately get the bolt cutters, get Pete Dunne out, and what I loved about it was Pete didn't just jump right into the ring. No, he started grabbing weapons, which there were already a few weapons incorporated into the match, but first thing Pete grabbed was a kendo stick, and he took out Adam Cole's hand. I believe Bobby Fish got hit with either in the hand or in the face. Kyle O'Reilly got hit. This was before he even got in the ring. He got a kendo stick, he got 2 garbage cans, I think like 2 or 3 tables. It was ridiculous, the amount of stuff that was being brought in. Of course, there were already 4 chairs introduced into the ring by the Undisputed Era. But Pete Dunne brought a lot more. So, just an unbelievable match. It was so crazy. And at one point in time, I actually had to bust out laughing. And I wasn't quite sure if I was hearing what I thought I was hearing correctly until I went on Twitter, and Will Ospreay actually tweeted the exact same thing that I thought I had heard, so I knew I wasn't hearing things. But at one point in time, when Pete Dunne was doing the finger manipulation on Kyle O'Reilly actually screams out Marty. And that made me laugh because, as we all know, Marty Scurll is in ROH as well as New Japan, and he had a lot of matches against Kyle O'Reilly. Marty Scurll is, you know, a huge finger manipulator, so I just thought that was really funny. I don't know if he meant to do it or if it was something that was just kind of came out. I don't know, but I had a good laugh off of that. Very impressed by Hansen tonight. For as big of a guy as he is, he reminds me a lot of Killian Dane. Just because of how big he is incredibly athletic in that ring. I've never seen, like, I can't even do a cartwheel. But yet, here's this guy is, at his size, doing cartwheels and handstands and backflips and all this other stuff in the ring. It's incredibly impressive, so I gotta give it out to him. But this was a very, very hard-hitting match. I was on my toes the entire time. Great job, NXT. Ultimately, of course, we had Pete Dunne and Ricochet both pinning Adam Cole to win for Dunne, Ricochet, and War Raiders team. I do want to throw in one more quick thing. Prior to that ending, I don't even know what to call this. It was like a pyramid almost. You had 5 or 6 guys clinging to the side of the cage, and here comes Hansen, and he takes and he power bombs all of them off of that cage. Adam Cole being at the top of that cage, like we're talking the very, very top of that cage. So of course he took the most punishment out of all of them, but that was just a ridiculous maneuver. I've never seen it done before, but just a very, very impressive match, an impressive win for the team of Dunne, Ricochet, and War Raiders. I was not surprised, or excuse me, I was not expecting that win. I had chose the Undisputed Era for that win. So, let's see what my ultimate end for the predictions was. Ultimately, I ended up getting it. Now, as Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno match was a surprise, of course, I didn't predict that. But the other 4 matches, I ended up going 2 for 4. So I got half right and half wrong. I don't know. Let me know how you guys did with your predictions or how you enjoyed the show. Otherwise, we will talk to you tomorrow night after Survivor Series. I will be doing a short sum of Survivor Series just as I did for TakeOver tonight. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please, like the video right here, and if you are not already subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also, I want you to go over and check out DSO Wrestling on Twitter. It's my friend Adam. They have a website where they write articles and all this wonderful things about wrestling. It's all kinds of different promotions. So if you love wrestling like I do, you need to go check this guy out. He is on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull up his Twitter handle real quick here. Oh my goodness. There it is. Alright, you can find him on Twitter, Dirt Sheet Outlaws, or DSOWrestling.com. I want you guys to go and check them out. Give them a like. Give them a follow. Him and his writers over there are doing a great job. So that's all I got for you tonight. But thank you, and again, we will see you tomorrow.